What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Good people. Thank you for tuning in to the latest and greatest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic. And yeah, we're here. We're here back close to our regular time. I could have done the show tonight at 8 p.m., but I had to eat real quick. But I was able to come on, guys, before 9 p.m. because our practice for my son's team got canceled due to bad weather, lightning, thundering, and all of that. So here we are, guys. I figured I wasn't going to wait till 9. Let's go ahead and get this done now. So happy to see all of you guys, man, all of you good people. Let's see. Who do we got here in the chat? The early commenters. Excuse me, guys. Just 8. Sorry. My man, Mr. Winningham is in the building. Good evening, sir. C.T. Pittman in the building. Jared Devil in the building. Ali Howard is in the building. Malvo in the building. William McClung is in the building. Who else is in the building? Jermaine White is in the building. Jack Bauer, what's up, Jack? In the building. Vista Light in the building. Who else is up in here, man? James Tresvant is in the building. Steeler Cards in the building. Will I Am is in the building. Who else? Jay Will is in the building. Mark Cunningham, my man, is in the building. Hippopotamus. Hip Hop Optimus. Literally, he says, started to call them the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow. Okay. Charles Jackson in the building, and my man Kenyon is in the building as well. And guys and gals, let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I could get this thing on and popping. Give me a second, guys. Give me a quick second. I want to have this ready to go for you guys. Hold on. But I'm going to have the Discord channel open for you guys. I'm going to post it here in the chat in just a second. If y'all give me 2 seconds. But how's everybody doing tonight, man? Everybody good? Everybody well? Everybody feeling good? Hopefully you are. Listen, we got a win on Sunday. And I know how some of you guys are feeling. Hey, it was an ugly win. Myself included. I said it was an ugly win. I came on right after the game. Well, not right after the game, but later on that night, I came on to the knee-jerk reaction show, and I said, hey, you know what? This team is lousy. I said, we're not a good team. I had a lot to say. I was ticked off about a lot. But I have rewatched the game, guys. I only got a chance to, I did do some All-22 as well. For you channel members, I meant to show it to you guys before the show, but I have the video already posted. I will release it after this show, but I already have the exclusive content for my channel members. I will be showcasing all of the pass attempts by the New England Patriots when it was 7 or more yards to go. It ended up being about 28 passes. And it's going to definitely aid in what I'm going to talk about here tonight. So maybe that works out perfectly. You'll hear me say in the video, hey, hopefully you get to see this before tonight's show, but obviously y'all going to see it in reverse. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. And again, if you want to see that footage, guys, you have to be a member of the channel. But other than that, I'm definitely going to open things up to the Discord for you guys that can get in there, and hopefully we can get everything on and popping like we did a week or two ago, or last week too. We had a couple calls. But all right, guys, let's get to it. What I'm going to talk about tonight, very simple, man. I'm going to talk a little bit about what Mike Tomlin had to say, and it's never really much. And what I mean by that is Mike Tomlin doesn't give you but so much, right? So I didn't really get anything from his conference today other than who's injured, who has a chance, and I'll talk about that in a second. We'll also just give another little light recap of the game, what I felt about the Steelers versus the Patriots, a little bit about how I feel about the team today, and give you a little bit of what I discovered watching those pass attempts. Have not watched the entire All-22, but I did watch the 28 pass attempts from the New England Patriots when it was at least 7 or more yards to go. And some interesting things there. And then a couple little things, man, that I notated, just in the first half. just in the first half that really caught my eye, and it was some significant plays when I rewatched the game. But as far as Tomlin, guys, what Mike Tomlin talked about today, again, I guess the biggest piece of information is Alex Highsmith is ruled out. So Alex Highsmith will not be in the fold. Some of you guys, seem to not care about that. Some of you guys are more on the Nick Herbig train. Yeah, I've seen people say it, but let's pause for just a moment and say thank you to Will I Am for the Wonder Bread. I appreciate you, sir. Round of applause. Will I Am says, this O-line has to get it together. If not, A-Rod won't last too much longer. Can't say I disagree at all with that. However, I am going to ask you guys a question. Y'all know I like to have this to be interactive. I want to ask a question to you guys in the chat before we continue, and thank you for that. A lot of times, man, not only do I appreciate you guys dropping the Wonder Bread for obvious reasons, but also I like the things that you have to say. It gives me something else to talk about, right? I love that interaction. So now let me ask the entire chat. How do you guys feel about the offensive line in terms of pass protection from this past game against the Patriots? Because Aaron Rodgers was not sacked, right? And then I saw people on socials, on X and all of that, all of these different forums, people are saying, oh, well, that's only because, his pass attempts were very short and he got rid of the ball quick. So my question is, just want to know from you guys who observed it, how did you feel about the pass protection? Did you feel like it was only because we got the ball away quick? Did you feel like that Broderick Jones and let's say Troy Fautanu in particular, did those two guys do a decent enough job? Zach Frazier, Isaac Seumalo, McCormick. How did you feel about the pass protection? And like I said, I'm not going to sway you one way or the other. I really want to get people's opinion because like I said, I saw on socials, some people were praising the fact that they didn't allow a sack. Other people were saying, well, it's only because he got rid of the ball quick or he didn't have many pass attempts. So it's almost like maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But I feel like sometimes people just try to, have an opinion and just make everything fit what they believe. That's why I want to ask you guys to see what y'all got to say. Let me see what y'all got. Let's see. Will I Am says he just don't have time. Okay. Hippopotamus. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's so many letters in that. He said, needs work still. They didn't look great. Okay. Kenya says, pass protection this past game was great. I didn't have much of a problem with it either, Kenyon. I know some people could, maybe they might not necessarily agree with great. Everybody has their own opinion, but I did not think the offensive line pass protection was too bad this week. CT Pittman says, I think the O-line is gaining cohesion. They weren't terrible like people are saying. I didn't think so. William McClung says pass protection was poor. He was just getting out quick and evading pressure. Okay, respect the opinion. Steeler Card says it says it was the best pass protection so far this season. I would agree with that. James Webb says Rodgers had happy feet, rightfully so. No time for deep play action. Okay, that's an interesting one from James Webb. It bears the question, are some of you guys also looking at the type of pass attempt, right? So that's a fair point because we saw in the Seahawks game, that play action just wasn't happening. So are you guys looking at it from that type of lens? Particular route combination or, it's a very good point, James Webb. Who else? Christopher West says the O-line is preventing deep shots, but they weren't awful. Okay. See, that's fair. So Christopher West is kind of saying both. Not allowing us really to go deep, but they didn't play bad. And that's kind of how I came away with it as well. I'll read a couple more down until I get to infamous Tim. Will I Am says too many dump offs. He gets rid of it in 2 seconds. Okay. Do you guys remember when Ben Roethlisberger was getting rid of the ball in 2 seconds in the Todd Haley days with the Killer Bees? I'm just saying that's not always a bad thing, right? And it could be that some of you guys might be right. You're looking for the big shot, and you're upset that we haven't really seen that. But sometimes you got to do what works, right? And until maybe that offensive line, I might add that young offensive line comes together. So I just wouldn't be I'm personally not being so critical of the O-line yet, because, guys, we had this question coming into the season. So when the question gets answered, I'm not going to overreact. Just my opinion. Anybody else on the O-line before I get to my man, Infamous Tim? James Webb says, watch some of the 22. Seems like the line hasn't played well collectively, one side at a time. That is true. And honestly, guys, it seems like from what I've seen, again, I got to go through the 22 from this tape, because even when I was looking at those pass attempts, I was looking at the pass attempts against us. I haven't studied our offense yet. But from the little bit that I saw, even on the rewatch, it seems like my early evaluation of this past weekend, I'm going to watch it again tomorrow probably. Fautanu and Siamalu seem to be the guys that are giving up the most pressure in this past week, but I could be wrong. Well, round of applause to the Infamous Tim, man. I appreciate the Wonder Bread. Yeah. He says, Chuck Clark's hands are just for decoration. Yeah, man. I have that notated too. That is funny, but yeah. Some people are DBs and some are receivers, I guess they say, as the old saying goes. Let me see what Mr. Winningham said, because he's always talking about the O-line, so I definitely always want to get his opinion. Mr. Winningham says, still terrible. We can't set up for big plays. Okay, so I agree with what Mr. Winningham, and I want to say Will.i.am, and some of you guys are speaking from the big play perspective. I have no beef with that. So that's why I like to get you guys to talk so I can see different opinions and where people are coming from. I'm more so along the same as, who was that said earlier, preventing the big plays, but they weren't terrible. Yeah, Christopher West. I'm more so along with how he feels. I don't think the O-line played terrible, but maybe they're not holding up enough for us to take those deep shots at this stage of the season. That is a fair statement. So I appreciate all of you guys chiming in on that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, guys, hold on, let me pull up my little small notes here. Porter, as well as Deshaun Elliott, have a chance. The whole, participation would be their guy, but Tomlin says they have a good chance. So that would be great, getting those guys back into the fold. I definitely want to see how. Remember who said this. I'm going to study our defense too, and I'm going to watch Brandon Echols very closely. But I am curious to see how Joy Porter plays in this defense. What I mean by that is Echols has been making some plays. Not just talking about the interception, but I've been seeing Echols even get up in the face of some of these receivers at times when we do it. I'm going to talk about that later. But I've seen him, be involved in a lot. On that interception, that was an outstanding play, man. It was end zone right at the goal line, but he read the action. Instead of standing in flat, he read the eyes of the quarterback, got back into the lane. Of course, it was assisted with the tip by Cam Hayward, and he made an interception. But if you go watch the play on the 22, hey, watch it on the rewatch of the game. You don't even need the all 22. Look at how he reacted to that and how he got in position to make the pick. So the reason why I say I'm going to be very interested to see how Joey Porter plays in this defense, even though Echols got called for a pass interference, that one could have went both ways because I felt like the receiver pushed off. I don't feel like he is as handsy as Joey Porter. So I'm curious to see how Joey Porter is going to be here in year 3. Can he be a guy that's not producing or causing defensive penalties like he did last year? So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on, because Echols is not playing bad. Just got to say that. So yeah, definitely want to get Deshaun Elliott back in the fold. I think he's been kind of a quarterback back there as well. I'm already, I like what I saw out of Jabril Peppers, man. Peppers doing a couple things, playing physical. I'm gonna tell you like this, guys, from a potential talent standpoint, I definitely like what I'm seeing out of this group of guys in the secondary. It's just how we're deploying them is where I have a problem, and I'm going to get to that. But before I do, James Webb, I thank you, sir, as well for the Wonder Bread. Appreciate that. Yeah. James says, when we can't challenge deep, the defense sits shallow, which affects our run game with reaction to the box. Can't disagree with that. Cannot disagree with that. So again, like I said, guys, I asked y'all the questions so I could get various opinions, and you guys are making good points there. Like I said, I still stick to the offensive line did not play bad in terms of pass protection, but it looks like we're not trusting them yet for deep developing routes, play action and such. So it's a fair point, whichever way you guys, whichever way you swing on that. The infamous Tim, man, appreciate the Wonder Bread, sir. Thank you so much. Tim, that is my main topic, sir. He says, we have 3 press man cornerbacks, yet we play them 60 yards off the line every play, even on 3rd and 4th down. It's a problem. Slay got beat on a post because of that. That is my main topic of the night. I will get right back to you in just a moment, but I absolutely agree with that. That is my biggest beef with this team right now, guys. And my biggest beef, remember I said after week 1, I wasn't sure if it was scheme related. We were talking about how we got ran on a lot. And then we have this game where we get passed on a lot or in key moments. And it is absolutely scheme in terms of what we're choosing to run. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. A couple other things I wanted to get to really quick. Let me get my notes, guys. I be forgetting sometimes. Yeah, that was pretty much it as far as, y'all just heard the double audio. So let me give you my quick recap. Here's a couple things that I noticed watching the game. And only, some of the things in the first half, not so much the second half, because I could kind of, recap that in one fell swoop. But a couple things that I noticed in the first half. Funny moment, Cam Hayward sacked Drake May and the guard, number 71. That was funny. He basically tackled number 71 in turn and then tackled Drake May. That was funny. I talked about Chuck Clark. This was an interesting sequence. I said Chuck Clark dropped the interception right in his hands, right? However, on that first series for the Patriots, we were called for illegal contact, and I forgot who they called it on. But then on the very next play, Cole Holcomb forced a fumble. I guess they say the ball don't lie. And Darius Slay is able to pick it up. And not only did the Steelers score on their first drive, they scored off of a turnover. And I thought that is a major point, guys, because what did I say on Sunday? We have 5 turnovers. 5. And I think we only scored points on 2 of them. 5 turnovers. And our offense was doing pretty good. Yeah, we didn't put up 30. We didn't put up 24 in the first half. But considering the Steelers' offense and what we have gone through in the last couple seasons, they did pretty well in that first half considering the amount of time we touched the ball. That's another thing that was extremely apparent watching the game again. We didn't possess the ball a lot. New England went on extremely long drives. and we didn't possess the ball a lot. And I didn't really realize that, man. I heard Tomlin say that in the post game, but until I rewatched the game, I was like, dang, he's right. I didn't necessarily pay much attention to that in real time because I told you guys I was watching the game in pieces because I was out. But we didn't. So considering that we didn't touch the ball a lot, I think we had 3 possessions in the first half and we put up 14 points. That wasn't bad. But in the second half, we just could not get the offense going. I'll tell you something else. On the very first drive of the game, we ran the ball relatively well. Relatively well on that first drive. We ran a toss play, had nice blocking. Jaylen Warren picked up like 12 yards, came right back, picked up another 6, 7 up the middle, came right back, got another 5 to 6. Like, we ran the ball relatively well on that first drive and in spots in the first half. Kenneth Gainwell had a decent run, about 10 to 15 yards. It's just something happened in that second quarter. I don't know second half, if it was New England just making adjustments or, yeah, we just couldn't get it going, man. Round of applause to James Webb. I appreciate the donation once again. Thank you for the Wonder Bread. Yeah, man. He says, along with the truth from infamous Tim, thoughts on Benton consistently being moved off the ball as a nose tackle. Yeah, man. I mean, that was apparent, just talking about this season, even in the Jets game. Benton just gets pushed around, man, at nose tackle. Don't know. Don't think he's going to be able to hold it, man. You would like to say, it's one of those things where you would like to say, hey, it's early, but I mean, I think we saw some of the same stuff, transpire with him last season. So, yeah, I don't know. And what I also don't know, it's easy for me. I'll even say this. You heard me say when we drafted him, I was like, why don't you just put Y.A. Black there? It's easy for me to just look at a guy's body type and stature and size and all that and say, oh, let him do it. But we don't know. A lot of people say, well, let Derek Harmon do it. Derek Harmon might be better as the end, right? Even when we're in the sub package, we got him and Cam as both of them are D tackles, not necessarily nose tackle, right? Not the single nose tackle. Times when Harmon has played as well, even in our base, we have Harmon and Cam as the ends, and we have Benton as the tackle, the nose tackle, right? And that's when it's a 3-man front for the most part. Got 2 outside backers. A lot of times we bring them up on the line as well, depending on what front we're putting out there. So I don't know the answer. Could you potentially try Y.A. Black? Maybe, but I don't know the answer. I don't know these guys' skill set. So it's hard for me as a traditional nose tackle to say who should be that. What is clear is Benton is not his best right there. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Steeler Cards. But like I said, is Y.A. Black a good traditional nose? Don't know. Mark Cunningham says, yo, Sim, Dulac is reporting it's just a matter of time. Black, Harmon, and Harmon will be starting with Cam. Now, there you go. So as big as that boy is, you would think, Again, logically, if you can play a D tackle in a sub package, it shouldn't be so difficult to play nose guard. Like if somebody told me they was going to put Cam at nose, I think Cam could do it. So ideally, you would think that Harmon, Black, and Cam would work. I'm just saying I don't know for sure. And maybe we haven't really seen that yet because Harmon is just coming back. So I'm with you. I'm with you guys on that because Benton is just not getting it done. What else did I have, guys? Yeah, that sequence was interesting, man, because we ended up still getting the turnover with the fumble and the Steelers score on their first drive, and also they scored off of the turnover. So that was a double positive for the Steelers. Like, again, Already we've seen in what, 2 games this season, because I don't think we did it against Seattle. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But we know for sure in the Jets game and in this game, the Steelers have scored on their opening drive. So that right there makes the offense more effective. So shout outs to them. But again, man, in the second half, we kind of just went, I don't know, man. I really don't. I really won't know what it was for sure until I watch the All-22. And maybe I will do that because that was the half that we didn't get off as much. So maybe I would just focus on watching the offense from the second half. The only thing else I had here, a couple other things. Remember that play, guys? Well, there was a play that I saw in the first half that was interesting. It didn't go for much yardage, but I was like, made me perk up a little bit. We ran a screen to Jonnu Smith, and him and Freiermuth was lined up on the same side. That's interesting. That was interesting. And they were split out. That's an interesting formation, right? A lot of times when you have 2 tights, you have one on the line, and I mean like in line, and then one split out. But on that particular play, they both was like split out. That is an interesting formation. So I definitely want to see what that looks like. That's one of them plays that you circle and say, okay, let's come back to this another time if we get the right look. That was interesting. So just because the play didn't work, I will continue to look and see what Arthur Smith has in his bag. That was interesting. Now, right after that, guys, I had a notation here saying that, remember that second 5 play? It was a 2nd and 5. It was the first drive of the second half. Remember when we got a quick 5-yard gain? I think it was a quick pass to DK Metcalf, and then we ran a screen. We ran a screen to Jaylen Warren, and it lost 5 yards. If you like me, a lot of people in real time probably said, oh, that was a horrible call. Oh, that was so stupid. You know why? Because of the result. But when I looked at it again, it was there. You know why that play didn't work? Harold Landry read screen, and he read it quickly. We had block it out in front of Warren, and Fautanu was supposed to block Landry, but Landry backed up. He started to rush, backed up, peeked inside, and immediately ran to the flat. Was no possible way for Fautanu to get there, and he did it so quickly, Rodgers probably just thought Warren was open. Warren caught it, Landry ran in there, it's a 5-yard blow up. But I wanted to bring that up, guys, because that's what happens when you watch film, right? That's why I love doing my knee-jerk reaction right after the game, and then I go back and watch again, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what happened. Because if you like me, I was pissed. Man, why you run that stupid call? We have 2nd and 5, man. Why don't you try to? It was the right call, guys. It was the right call. Landry he just played it perfectly, man. He just played it perfectly. If I'm just giving him credit, it was the right call. Absolutely. What else? I had something else written here, and then I'll get into that pass defense. The only other thing, man, I definitely wanted to talk about again, that sequence. You know, Landry blows it up, and then right after that, Rodgers throws a pick on the very next play to Spillane. Rodgers must not have saw him, because, I mean, how do you throw an interception that bad? I mean, he must not have seen him underneath. Maybe he was blending in with the logo because Spillane was kind of standing on the logo. I don't know. But I know some people probably lost their mind. Again, like it's in real time. Oh, Rodgers sucks. Guys, he does not suck. And y'all know I was the first one saying I did not want us to go with Rodgers because I wanted us to just try to go, try to go young, early. Y'all know I was a big fan of Jackson Dart after I watched him. And I was like, look, if you want to take a shot on the QB this year, go get him. Now he about to get his chance. You know, speaking of former Steelers news, Russell Wilson has been benched and Jackson Dart about to get his shot in week 4. Man, I would have taken that. And I know some of y'all didn't want that, but I'm here to tell you that I would have taken that. And I'm not hating on Rodgers. I just want us to, the Steelers are going to have to go through that period. They're going to have to. They're going to have to find their young stud or keep shooting until they find the young stud franchise QB. That is the next time where there's going to be real hope of the Steelers being able to win or having an electric QB that can make some plays with his legs. That's why a lot of us was like, hey man, let's see what Justin can do, because he was young and at least he can move. We don't have that capability no more. And most of the quarterbacks in the NFL now, a lot of the good teams have guys that can do that. So shout outs to Jackson Dart, man. I hope the kid does well. But yeah, I don't know what Rodgers was looking at on that pick. And then right after that, Cam Hayward forces a fumble on the goal line to end that drive, man. And just the defense kept us in it wholeheartedly, man. They kept us in it. As bad as I want to curse them out, and I'm about to talk about the pass coverage, they just kept us in it with the turnovers, man. So I sum this up by saying the defense gave up too much, but they forced 5 turnovers, and the offense didn't capitalize enough. They finally capitalized on their second point or second touchdown after a turnover was what put us ahead, and that was the ball game, man. But let's talk about the way the Steelers play pass defense that I don't like. Let me see if we got anybody in the Discord. Not yet. So let me put the link in here really quick, guys. This should bring you into the Discord if you guys want to speak tonight. Here's the link right here. Come on in, and I will get you on in just a moment. So here's the thing. I know it's always an argument or a debate amongst fans. When should you run man? When should you run zone? Often as a casual fan, you're going to be upset when whichever one your defense puts out there doesn't work. That's when you're going to say, oh, we got to stop doing this. Oh, we got to stop doing that. The fact of the matter is, even before I get into my critique, you cannot run man coverage all game. There's a such thing as man beaters. There are routes that are called man beaters. You cannot run zone the entire game. There are routes that beat the zone. There are smart receivers and tight ends and even sometimes running backs that sit in the zone and make themselves available. What you have to do is be multiple. You have to throw a disguise or make it appear like you're doing one thing, but you're doing something else. That can lend to being a disguise. Look like you're in man, drop in the zone, come out in zone, run up into man, play match coverage, pass off guys, even in man coverage, especially in tight formations. Hey, if he go that way, you follow him. If he go this way, I follow him. Blitz. You got to do all of that. The problem that I had in this past game, and we've seen it for a few years now at times, the problem that I have with the Steelers defense is we run zone entirely too much, and we run it to the point to where teams know what we're running. Now, when I watch those pass plays, and again, I'm going to post that video right after right after this video. I'm going to release the video for members only. You have to join my channel if you want to see it, but it is all 22 footage. I watched all 28 passing plays that the Patriots ran on us when it was 7 or more yards to go. Each one of those times, ladies and gentlemen, we were sitting in zone. I think it might have been one or two that we weren't, but well, let's say this, the big ones, when they hit us for 20 yards, 15 yards, third and 13, the big ones, we were sitting in zone. You will see in that footage, there was a couple of times when we played it relatively decent. There was a couple of times in man when we played it decent. Like, remember that play? You guys remember the play when Jabril Peppers was, ran all the way across the field and chopped the dude down. He only gained 3 yards. That was in man. You got to pick it in spots. But here's the real problem. If y'all know me like you think you know me, you've heard me say this for, I'll be modest and say the last 3 years. And y'all know it's been longer than that. Why do we give the inside leverage up so easy? Why? That's all I want to know from Terrell Austin, from Mike Tomlin. And I do think Mike Tomlin is a good football coach. I do think Mike Tomlin knows football. But that is still a question I have. I don't know what is it that make them fall in love. They love to cover 3, which is interesting. Because, guys, if you know Mike Tomlin's history, he's from the Tampa 2 era. And occasionally you see in the game that we'll drop into cover 2. Like a couple times we showed a cover 1 look or a cover 3 look, and then at the snap, we drop back into cover 2. I talk about that in the footage. I said, oh, that was a nice disguise right there. But Tomlin comes from Tampa 2. He comes from that tree. But I just wonder what it is about cover 3 that they love. There are some advantages to it. There's advantages to every zone, but there's also disadvantages to every zone. So you got to go with your strength. Now, I don't know. Listen. I'm not like some of you guys that are in this chat. I'm going to just say that. Some of y'all think that y'all can go coach this team better than anybody else. Y'all think y'all can outcoach Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin, and Artie Smith. Y'all do. Y'all really do think that. I don't think that. Again, I don't think you can be an NFL coach this long and be a horrible coach. I'm sorry. You just can't. But I can have an opinion, and I feel like we give the inside up too easily. Even when we in man, why are we so far off? Sometimes put them joints on the table and let them hang, bruh. Sometimes you got to show them. You gonna beat me or I'm gonna beat you. Let's go. Sometimes you got to get up in their face and make them beat you. We don't do that often. I understand that you don't go man so much when it's mobile QB, but dog, sometimes you got to just go mano y mano, put an extra guy out there, go and dime or whatever, put a spy in the middle of the field and go man across the board with the best athletes you got. With the Jalen Ramsey, with the Brandon Echols, with the Jabril Peppers, with the Juan Thornhill, which I don't know if he's a man guy, but with a Darius Slay, who just let him hang. And it's too many times that we play that zone so deep. Here's the funny thing. If you guys follow me with the video game stuff, you've heard me talk about giving feedback to EA about Madden all the time. Man, they just covering grass. They got to go look for work. You know what the Steelers secondary do? C.T. Pittman will love this. Why Diggy will love this one. Y'all know what they do in Pittsburgh, in the real world? They cover grass. They cover grass. They not often looking for work. They covering an area. Dudes running all behind them, all beside them. That 1 3rd and 13 when homeboy caught that joint in the middle of the field. Actually, it was a bad decision by May. He should have checked it down. That was wide open. But I'm like, bruh, Eccles, round of applause to him on that interception. He won't cover in grass. See what I'm saying? That was an individual effort. He went out to his zone area, didn't see anything out there, and quickly got his head back and got that pick. That's not covering grass. That's why I got to give that dude tremendous credit. But we got to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that, Coach T. TA. We got to stop doing that so much. Come on, man. Sometimes you got to roll them dice. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I didn't like it, bro. I did not like it. Did not like it. Yeah, we won the game, but I just did not like it, man. How we were just sitting, we couldn't get off the field. Now, they weren't as successful as I thought on third down, but it was enough. And it was, like I said, it was 3rd and 13s. But when you watch the film back, you say, okay, they wasn't so successful, but it was how they were successful. And that's what sticks to your rib. It was how they were successful on those third downs that bothers you. But they got to figure it out, man. They most definitely got to figure it out. Looks like I do got 2 in the Discord, so I'll come to you guys here in just a second. Got to figure it out. And that's all I can say. They got to figure it out. But other than that, guys, listen. We got to get the run game going a little more. Agreeing with what you guys said here in the chat. If we do that, I think it opens it up for downfield stuff. It most certainly will. It will open it up for the down the field. More of the big plays. It will give us or give our guys, it'll help out the D-line. The offensive line. So, I don't know. I did want to say this before I bring on our callers, though. Y'all watch that game last night? Whoa. Did y'all watch that game last night? Detroit rushed for, what was it, y'all? What they finished with? It was 240 something, I think, on the Ravens. And that's why I say, man, don't go crying, screaming as soon as we lose or as soon as we have a bad game. Because when you look around the league, it happens. Now, yes, the Steelers seem to have had a little trouble with the run game the last couple years. I get it. But what I'm saying is sometimes it could be the matchup. Just saying. I ain't expect that last night. Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is nice. Yes, Montgomery is nice. But yes, I definitely know that offensive line of Detroit is nice. They invested in it. But I did not expect them to have a running game like that. And I mean, they just ran up and down the field. And and Kenya texted me and said, yo, they running 2 plays, bro. So I'm just saying, guys, that there's time. Even the good teams, yes, and the Ravens are a good team. Even the good teams got caught out there. So we'll see. We'll see. We got 3 more games for me to really know what's going on. I mean, I get it. Listen, I get what Steeler Cards is saying. They was without, Metabike as well as Van Noy. But listen, man, I say this all the time because we say that same thing about the Steelers. This is the NFL. If you are only as deep as your starting lineup, that's not a good football team. I don't like to use that excuse, even for us. Of course, it hurts if TJ go out or somebody like that. But if you're only as good as just the starters and you ain't got no depth behind them, I mean, you're incompetent behind the starters, then I don't accept that. The Ravens still should have looked better than that without Matabike. Come on. So it is what it is. Let's grab this donation and I'm going to bring my guys on, man. Round of applause again to James Webb for the Wonder Bread. Appreciate it, sir. He says, facts, Sim, please get out the marshmallow zone. Also creates more space for missed tackles, which also plagues us. Yeah, it's insane, man. It really is insane. But yeah, guys, we got a long season to go, man, and we'll see how it goes. we'll see how it goes. But all right, guys, let's get to the callers. Let me mute this music so you guys can hear them loud and clear. This is the one problem with Discord. I don't know who was here first. So I'll just grab Daron, and then after that, I think the other party might be Mr. Winningham, maybe. Just looking at the thumbnail there, but we'll see. But Daron, what you got for us, man?
Hey, I'm a fan of he was in here first. You let that man say what's on his mind because I came in here second. Give that man the mic.
I will do that. I'll be right back to you. Mr. Winningham. Let's get Mr. Winningham in here. I think. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but let's see. Hello.
Am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, sir. What you got for us?
All right. It's good to talk. Good to talk to you again. It's good to talk to everybody. I've seen a lot of things that does encourage me of what I've seen, but having that secondary so far off the ball and giving up all these plays like we did against Seattle and New England, that frustrated me Sunday. But I see a few little wrinkles in the offense that we are running. I just would love to see us be able to run the ball better than what we are. I don't know what it is, this reason why these guys can't run block. I always figured it was always easier to run block than pass block back in the day. But it's good to talk to everybody, and I hope everybody have a great week.
Man, it's good to talk to you, Mr. Winningham. Oh, man. You know you was one of our favorites. You still are. So I'm glad that, like I said, I somehow I must have saw you on Facebook or something, but I knew the face looked familiar, and I thought that was you, and I'm glad it was. So thank you for calling. I know you have been asking for a long time, hey, man, when we going to be able to call in again? And this is the best we got right now, guys, and we'll just run with Discord until we find something different. Before I grab the other calls, let me just explain to anybody who's new. What I'm really looking for is what we had in Blog Talk Radio, man, where it doesn't require you all to have an account. Like, I hate that. I hate requiring people to create an account on a service and then you got to sign in. That's why I didn't want to use Discord or Google or anything like that. But I'm looking for something where you can dial in. I can queue the calls. I can see who's calling. It's more like a switchboard situation. And maybe we'll find it. But if not, hey, Discord to do. Discord to do for now. But thank you for calling, sir. Let's go ahead and grab Daron back up in here. Daron, what you got for us, man?
What's up, man? Now, first off and foremost, we didn't truly win that game. The Patriots beat themselves. Let's just be real. The offense looking like a peewee football team. Defense did some good stuff, but we are still, everybody say, and it's starting to get to the point where I can see it while watching it. The middle of the field is wide open.
Yeah.
All the time. They're picking us apart in the middle. Our middle has not been decent since Shazier left. We've been trying to find that replacement. Thought that we had in Patrick Queen, but I'm not seeing it. He's good. But he's not at the level to where we need him at. Also, our first round pick. I gotta give a round of applause. I went back and looked at the highlights of him. That man, if he was not getting there, he was getting pressure. I like that. He reminds me of a young Hayward, a young Aaron Smith, a healthy young Tuitt. And other thing, receiver wise, they'll get it together. Offense, like I said, after the bye week, like you said, game 5, game 6, I'll be able to say more about. And last but not least, I would like for you to think about doing this, opening up Discord, just the chat mode during the game so we can all talk to each other and get the conversation going for after the game and everything else.
Man, appreciate your call, Daron. Let me answer that really quick, then I'll grab the next caller. Maybe. Only reason why I say maybe is I'm gonna be 100% honest. If I'm watching it, I ain't doing no chatting. I'm paying too much attention to the game, but that's a good idea. The only other thing is, yeah, I could do it on my phone. I was gonna say I'm not always sitting in front of the computer, but it's on the phone too. So maybe I will do that. I could post the link and you guys can, you should be able to come into the server and we have the little chat room and all that without starting the call. So maybe we could get that going. I'm not opposed to that. If some of you guys definitely want to do that, maybe I'll chime in here and there. But yeah, I'm not opposed to that. But yes, listen, the other thing I'll say to what you said, the only thing that scares me, this is a good scare, kind of. It's not about Derek Harmon. We got to find another one. Cam Hayward, he's on his way out. So I think we looking like we may have hit with Harmon, but now we got to go find another one, right? And maybe Y.A. Black is that, but I'm just saying, looking at how guys like Benton might not necessarily pan out, I'm not going to throw him in the trash yet, but let's say he doesn't all the way pan out. Leal didn't all the way pan out. Loudermilk didn't all the way pan out as far as being a stud. Cam Hayward ain't going to be there forever, so it makes you feel like, dang, we got to go find another guy to be the Robin to what we think Derek Harmon's Batman. So love what I'm seeing from that kid, but I'm getting sad already thinking about the next few years after Cam. Appreciate it, brother. Next up. See, here's the thing about Discord. I don't know who's who. It says it's Molly, but I don't necessarily know who that is in terms of YouTube. So welcome to the show, man. What you got for us?
Man, Miss Malvo, man.
Malvo. All
That's
right,
what I
appreciate
look
it.
like.
No.
Yeah,
but
brother. Yeah.
the name look on my side. It just says it's
It's
MALI.
Mally. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, little nickname. Yeah, Mally is what they call me in the city, man.
all right.
Football
What's up,
head, you know what I
Malvo?
mean? Play football and all that. Nothing much, man. Just fresh off work. It was like, let me just go ahead and just chime in. I tried to chime in last week, but I was having technical difficulties, man.
Yeah, no
But
problem. What you got for us?
I'm adapting your philosophy this season. You know what I mean? You want to see six weeks, preferably before you give any, hardcore facts. I'm trying to do the same, man. I'm not really liking the way the team looked overall, though we winning. It still seem a little awkward. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the reinforcements coming in gonna do anything. You know what I mean? It's hard to tell right now, man. Like, I don't really know how the running back situation really panning out, wide receivers panning out, but I'm gonna wait till week 6 to give a real good, in depth on how I feel. I feel certain ways watching certain things, but this season I'm trying to take your road, the high road, and just see how it pan out for 6 weeks or at least 7. This, since we got the 5th week bye.
Yeah, man, this is why I love what we do, because I know all of us have disagreed and all that, but this is just fun. But I'm with you, because I don't know if you last week you might have missed it, or maybe Sunday. Man, I said, look, 6 weeks is usually my time, but I'm telling you, I don't feel good after 3. I don't feel good after 3 weeks, man. But I'm gonna see how I feel the next 3.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna give them that 7 week for that 6 game stretch after the bye. Gotta see the other 2 games, but we gonna need some help. I don't think we gonna go. I was saying 6 and 11. I ain't gonna lie, I'm still holding that to this day. 6 and 11. Just by the way, I'm gonna keep it real, because if that's what Aaron did with, what he did last season, and what we doing right now, it look entirely the same to me. Like we just dying right now. You know what I mean? I don't know if I should cheer or cry. You know what I mean? Watching the game, like
Man,
it's
yeah,
just
we
that's just
we
where I'm at with it, Sam. That's where I'm at with it, man.
I got you, man. We will definitely see. I definitely appreciate you calling in for sure, man. And if anybody else want to call in, like I said, man, it's not the most conducive. I'll put the link in there one more time. But this is what we got right now. So I definitely appreciate Malvo, Daron, and Mr. Winningham. And just to go ahead and comment a little more about what he just said there, I will say this. Aaron Rodgers, I'm not even gonna say will. I'm not even gonna say hope. I will say will. He's going to play better. Right? I don't necessarily think he's playing bad. Just seeing some of the glimpses of some of the throws he can still make, I think we're going to be okay. I just don't know how okay, if that makes sense. And I hope some of you guys are following what I'm saying. I think we're going to get better offensively. Again, it was cool to hear that he got signals and things like that. I know some people are going to say, oh, that's basic, but it's cool to hear that him and Calvin Austin on the same page, right? Threw a little signal at him, boom, back shoulder, touchdown. The reason why that's great, because it ain't always going to be DK. That throw he made to DK, the throw he made to Jonnu in the middle of the field, which is interesting. If you look at it from the all-22, Calvin Austin was about to be open too deeper down the field, which could lend to what some of you guys were saying about us not getting enough time and he getting rid of it quicker. And we converted, it was like a, what was it, like a third and, it was third and something, and we picked up 21. Aaron can still play, but I'm not sure how healthy he's going to remain if he keeps taking hits, number one. So the O-line is definitely going to have to keep it a little cleaner. Listen, every quarterback gets hit, but we're going to have to be a little cleaner. My only concern, I don't know right now what our ceiling is. Could we be a team that averages 24 points? I can see that. We already put up plus 30 against the Jets. Had a fall off against the Seattle Seahawks. We put up 21 this past week. When we stalled, we started hot, right? That's the one thing we've been waiting for us to do. And we've started off hot on offense for 2 weeks. Against the Jets, against who we just played, just slipped my mind just like that. Who we just played, guys? How did you lose your thought just like that? The Patriots, right? And we stalled out. So I'm like, what's going on? But we still scored 21. So think about that. We still scored 21 with not the best offensive effort or output, without as many possessions. And this was the first game where I questioned the pass D. I'm like, okay, what's going on? We relatively did a good job against the run, but New England killed us in play action. Play action was killing us. So I think we are going to get better. I think we will get better. It's just that, again, what is the ceiling? Round of applause to CT Pittman, man. I appreciate the Wonder Bread, sir. Yep. CT Pittman makes a good point. I didn't see it myself yet because I haven't watched the run game, because now that I finally, guys, I told on myself last week, I finally realized what I was doing wrong with the All-22. But when you go to the All-22 on the NFL site under NFL Pro, it is the most beautiful All-22 you could ask for. Like, I can literally, like today, I literally went in there and I put in all passes attempts by New England when it was down a distance of 7 yards or more, and it showed me all of those. You guys are going to see it. Some of you channel members, CT Pittman, Lanisha. Hello, Lanisha. Glad to see you. Some of you channel members will see that. If you guys want to become a channel member, I'm not advertising. I'm just saying, if you want to see the footage, you'll have to join the channel to see it. But I'm releasing that right after this show. All 28 of those passes. But I can also go back and I'm going to look at every run attempt by the Steelers. Might do that a little bit tonight before I lay it down. Right? It's beautiful. So no CT, I haven't looked at it myself, but I heard some other people saying that. I even heard one of the players say we were like a block away or two away from huge runs. So, and again, I promise y'all this. I will promise you this. It's never as bad as it seems when we watch the game in real time. When you look at the all 22, even if it's bad, you have an understanding why. Like I said, the third down conversions wasn't as many as it seemed to be watching. It was just the down and distance in the key moments that made it feel that much worse. And then you see that we playing this soft zone, and you like, come on, man, you ain't even try. So I'm definitely going to watch that next, as well as I'm going to watch. It was something else I said I wanted to watch. I watched their pass attempts, all of our pass attempts. I'm going to watch all of ours to see how the line is holding up and what the routes were and things like that and how much time Rodgers has. And I'm going to watch every single run to see what was going on with the blocking scheme. But, yeah, there you have it. There you have it. But guys, that's all I really got, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Let's sit in here in the chat for a few more minutes and see what y'all got. You know, I like to do that from time to time. Steeler Card says, y'all see less of Clark when Elliott comes back? Yes. And that's not a disrespect to Chuck Clark. You know, I can't necessarily say Chuck Clark has played bad, but Deshaun Elliott, what he's meant for the defense, especially last season, he's back in there. What I would like to see is I definitely want to see Jabril Peppers continue to play. Let's keep him out there in the dime situation. You know, let him, you know what? He might be able to be the dime backer. He might. Because when we go dime, I'm just trying to think. A lot of times they try to get another corner out there, not just a safety. So if you're thinking, let's say Porter is back. So Porter and Slay, your outside guys, Jalen Ramsey. Then sometimes they try to get another corner out there, right? They try to get somebody like Pierre sometimes plays dime. Then you have Thornhill. And then you would have Deshaun Elliott. So personally, I might go with a dime package where I take I might take one of the backers off the field. Well, a lot of times you have a solo backer. I don't know if they're going to take Queen off, but I'm just trying to find a place where we can put Jabril Peppers. You know, maybe you let Jabril Peppers work the middle of the field. You don't necessarily need Pierre, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. What else y'all got? Dominic, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. He says, why are they not using Roman Wilson and Scotty Miller more? Good question. I know somebody's going to say, oh, because Roman Wilson sucks. No, he don't. He don't. I don't know why they haven't utilized him more. Again, some of these things we'll never know, right? But for one, I don't think we haven't run much 11 personnel, and Calvin Austin has been effective, right? So if we're running a lot of 12 where we have both Jonnu and Freiermuth on the field, they just haven't found an opportunity to really take Calvin Austin off the field because Calvin has been effective. That would be my assumption. That would just be my assumption. I have no way of knowing, but again, guys, y'all be jumping to conclusions. Oh, it's because Roman Wilson sucks. No, he doesn't. He does not. It's just, again, I think it's hard to get Calvin off the field right now opposite DK Metcalf when we're in 12. And I think that's just what it is. I think maybe you'll see more Roman Wilson if we, deploy an 11 personnel package. I'm sure you're going to see him. Just my observation. What else y'all got? Anything else? Malvo says he'd rather see Joy Porter Jr. in the slot. I don't know, man. I don't think he's strong there. Now, maybe could prove me wrong, but I don't think that's his game at all. Yeah, I don't think that's his game. I see somebody ask Kenyon about Broderick. Is he gone? I agree with Kenyon. Remains to be seen. It's too early to call that, guys. Again, Broderick Jones didn't have the best opening game against the Jets. There's a lot of football left. And again, in the last 2 weeks, you haven't really said his name. So I don't think Broderick is playing as bad as you guys think. Yet, absolutely, we all was going crazy in the Jets game. But there's a lot of football left. Let's see. Let's see. Couple more guys, and then I'm out of here. Hip Hopopotamus. I think I finally said it correct. I looked at it. Yeah, I think that's how you say your name. Had me all tongue twisted at first. Yeah, I didn't think so either, Kenya. Yeah, I don't see JPJ in the slot, man. He said, you did it. Hip Hopopotamus. Steeler Card says Broderick will likely be the left tackle again next season unless the wheels fall off. They won't move on from a draft pick they traded up for that easily, especially with only 1 year left tackle. That is the most logical answer, man. We know how the Steelers get down. And again, I just don't listen. He got pushed around a little bit in the Jets game, but these last 2 games, I could say it before I even look at the 22. I don't think Broderick Jones had a bad game. I don't. Again, it's easy for us to judge our players and teams so badly. Did y'all see how many sacks? Did y'all see how many sacks Detroit was able to get off on the Ravens last night? It's just sometimes, guys, a team just has their way with you. It just happens. Now, if we start seeing it consistently, if Broderick Jones has, let's say, 6 more games this season where he has a horrendous performance, now we got to look at him. But in all fairness, that man trying to get his footing at left tackle. That was his 3rd game as a left tackle in the NFL. I want you guys to remember that. His 3rd game as a left tackle in the National Football League. I'm just saying. Infamous Tim says, Arthur Smith pass and play calls aren't really impressive to me. Not many unique route combinations. I don't see the routes creating space like other OCs do. Look at the Pats passing versus ours. That's a good, definitely good comment there, Tim. And that's the kind of stuff I want to look for, man, when I really look at our passing game in the 22. Because I think what some people are saying, that might go hand in hand. We might have some combinations happening, but maybe we're not giving them time to develop, or, has Arthur Smith and Tomlin and whoever else figured out that we can't really sit on the ball that long, and you know what I mean? It could be a combination of things, but there's a fair point. C.T. Pittman taking us out here with more Wonder Bread, man. Round of applause. That's all I'm saying, man. People forget these are the best of the best players in the world. We're not going to have our way every week. We just not, guys. We're just not, but we'll see. It's early. It's much better to be sitting here 2-1, right? And here's the thing. I'll end it with this. Hopefully I'm foreshadowing a little bit. The Steelers traditionally have started not last season. They didn't last season. But I was going to say, traditionally, the Steelers tend to get better later in the season and they pick it up. So it's good to be starting 2-1. And at the very worst, we go into the bye 2-2. That's not bad, right? And we'll see what happens from there. Maybe having an early bye could be a bright spot. I don't like it. I don't like a bye at the fifth week. But maybe it could be a bright spot, right? It could allow us to get back on track and retool and all. I don't know. But we're 2-1 and we're not playing the best football. And look at the ways that we did it, right? Week 1, we didn't play the best football, but we put up 34 points. Wow. Week 2, could not stop the run and didn't do the best we could. And yeah, we gave up. What we gave up? What was it? 31 points, right? What was it? What was the score of that game? Something to 17. But one of them touchdowns was a bonehead play by Caleb Johnson on the kickoff. Basically gave him a touchdown. This game, we come back, we start off hot again, and then our defense turns them over 5 times. And then the offense goes kind of cold in the second half, and then we finally score off the last turnover. And we go to 21, but we held them to 14 points. Didn't have our best, like a shutout defensive performance. It was more bend but don't break, but we didn't break. My point is, all 3 of these games, we played differently, right? And I think we're trending upward a little bit. And let's just be patient and see what happens. All right. CT, you taking us out here again, man. More Wonder Bread. I appreciate you, brother. He says that we shouldn't be looking at our best right now. That should be in November and December. Amen to that, because last December, oh, man, have mercy. I can't go through that again. But I tell you this, man, listen. I don't think largely we are better than the Ravens, even though the Ravens got manhandled last night by Detroit. Cincinnati is without Joe Burrow. Cleveland doesn't appear to be able to put up a lot of points. The defense looks pretty solid. But what I'm saying is I think we're in the thick in terms of the division. I expect the Ravens to be better. And like I said, if I had to call it today, I don't know if we beat the Ravens just because, we're going to have to prove that we can stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the run game, primarily Derrick Henry. Yes, Detroit did it last night. Yes, Jack Campbell was all over the place. Another one of those inside backers from a few years back that was high in the draft. They did an excellent job. Derrick Henry has fumbled twice, crucial fumbles in 2 games already. In the opener against Buffalo, and then last night, crucial fumble. But I expect them to be better. And by the time we play them, are we better? But what I will say is a lot of these AFC teams don't look super powerful as ones that you thought. Kansas City, but they might get better too. What about them Chargers? Didn't I tell y'all about them Chargers? And Kenya knows how much I love some Justin Herbert. Again, until the Steelers do that, we gotta go find us our Justin Herbert, our Joe Burrow, our Josh Allen. To say Patrick Mahomes is an anomaly, but hey, we gotta go find one of those guys. Our Lamar Jackson. Lamar, boy, say what y'all want. Lamar be accurate now when he throw the ball. Until we do that, we kicking and clawing, guys, and that's just what it is. But all right, I'm out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. Listen, if you haven't already, right there. That's very simple, very easy. Hit the like button, man. If you like the video, you claim you like the video, then hit it. Hit the like button. It helps me tremendously, guys. Y'all don't understand, please. Thank everybody for giving the Wonder Bread, but for those of you that didn't, just hit the like button. That's easy, ain't it? Don't cost you nothing. Outside of that, if you definitely like the content, consider subscribing to the channel as well as turn on your notifications. Other than that, I'm going to always give you guys my public service announcement. Please do me a favor out there. Stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. And I shall see you guys. I didn't get to it this week. I was busy. I'm sorry. But I should be able to produce a pregame show on Saturday. I should be able to do that. And like, once again, guys, on the road again Sunday. And of all Sundays when our game is at 9:30. So I'll just tell y'all in advance in case y'all don't see me for the pregame. I will be doing a follow-up reaction show at some point Sunday. I can't tell you what time, probably later in the evening, but I will be coming in and giving you a recap of what we saw in the game. Hopefully the Steelers can go get it done for Ambassador Rooney. God bless. Wow, what a game that's probably going to be. Minnesota, we facing off against Carson Wentz, I think. We'll see if we can go get that thing done. But outside of that, man, I thank y'all for tuning in like always. And I shall catch you lovely people in the next one. Peace.